Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining today. Number one, I tried to do an Instagram reel on this look. If you're wondering, it glitched, so there is no footage of me actually doing this. But I did use the Odin's Eye and Judy Red Dragon palette, unfortunately. It's so sad. Anyway, today is another installment of my ranking of my palette series. This is the 8th video. I'm trying to put a focus on this and get it done. But basically I just go through my palettes in batches of 10 and swatch the shades as a color story and individually because I love swatching. I love watching people swatching, and I just wanted to, I don't know, give my palettes a focus individually, let them shine, and yeah. So I will leave the playlist that I have for this series down below if you want to watch them. Or you can just watch them. Just watch this one. That's cool too. Before I get into it, I want to give 2 shout outs. Number 1, credit to Kelsey Brianna J, whose channel will be linked down in the description box because she started the ranking, my makeup type videos. So give credit to her, and then also credit to Lauren May Beauty because she inspired the individual up close swatches of the shadows. Alright, let's just get into it because these videos are always really long. This palette is number 82. Now we're getting into, as I mentioned before, I love the formula of all the palettes that I'm going to talk about and continue to talk about. It's really just getting down to color story, really being nitpicky. So number 82 is the Melt Millennial Pinks palette. This is new to me, so it might be a little bit surprising that such a new palette is ranked where it is, but as much as I do love Melt's formula and I do enjoy this palette, I don't love the shimmers in here. I want something a little bit more from them, and I feel like I would like this palette more if one of these shades was like a deep pink or a lighter gray maybe, or I don't know, there's just something missing from this color story that's preventing it from being ranked that much higher. I am happy though to have this. I'm happy to use it. I'm happy to have it, and I have it as part of my Melt collection, but just functionality wise and the shimmers kind of bump it down a little bit, but I still do like it. Wouldn't recommend you to pay full price for this palette though. Number Number 82 is the Kaleidos Futurism palette. Never remember what the Roman numeral is. This Sashimi City palette. And this would have been ranked lower if these shimmers weren't in here, because these shimmers are just absolutely incredible. They're so sparkly, they're so beautiful and shifty, and I do think that this is a nice neutral palette with nice shimmers. And obviously I love Kaleidos' formula. I've talked about them a lot in the past, but because this is a 6 pan and it doesn't really have that much depth, I just don't use it alone, and I just can't rank it higher than this. But these shimmers really propelled it up in the ranking, because I can't rank it lower because the shimmers are so good, and the mattes are really good as well. Next up, number 80 is another Kaleidos Futurism palette. This is the Lunar Lavender palette, and again, it would be ranked lower if the shimmers in here went absolutely incredible. And I do like this color story. I think it's really nice. This blue purple shimmer is just absolutely out of this world. It's one of my favorite shimmers in my collection, but again, the depth isn't where I want more depth from this palette, and this shade can be a little bit finicky. It can go a little bit patchy, so for that reason it's ranked where it is. But I still do really enjoy Kaleidos' formula. Again, it's just for those reasons it's where it is. Number Number 79 is the Colored Rain Rose Garden palette. This is mostly, I do like it, but it's mostly ranked here just because it's a 6 pan. It's nice. You know, you can get a certain variety of looks from it. but you're gonna get pretty similar looks, and it's just not as exciting as a lot of other palettes in my collection that I, have. I think it's good for what it is, but it's just at the same time a 6-pan neutral palette. So I'm not going to, I don't know, it's just not as exciting as other palettes, but I do love Colored Rain's formula, and that's no exception. Number 78 is the Beige Cosmetics Looking Like a Snack palette. If you know me, you know I love pink eyeshadow. Say it with me, I just wish there was more depth in this palette. And there is a black in here, but if one of these shades had have been like a really dark plum or a dark pink or burgundy or something, I would have ranked it higher, but I realistically probably wouldn't use it by itself. And there's just something about it that, while I do like it as a color story, I don't know. There's just something missing from this for me that makes it not super perfect. And also, these names are so dumb. Like, this whole series from Beige is like a little cringy, but the shade names are like Yummy, Swipe Right, Thought, Teenage Dream, You Up, Bootylicious is a literal shade name, Snatched, Dirty Talk, and Hit That. Like, that's so embarrassing for them. Anyway, okay. And then number 77 is the Beige Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette. And again, like, I think the quality of this palette and like the formula is so good. I really, really do think it's a really great palette, but for me, it's 100% a companion palette. I'm never going to create like looks with this by itself, honestly, but I do think they're really, really great curation of like pastel shades and shimmers. It's just very much a companion palette for me, so I'm not going to rank it as high as other palettes that I use as standalone palettes, but I do think it's like really, really good, not to knock that palette at all. Number 76 is the Lorac Fairy Tale Forest palette. And again, I do really like this palette. I just wish that there was a little bit more variety, maybe not so many light mattes, and like this entire little square of 6 shades here are all very similar light bronzy champagne shimmers. So yeah, this is where it's ranked kind of middle of the pack. Again, I do like it as a palette. It's just not like the best of the best, my favorite ever, but I think it's like a pretty good, relatively reasonably priced neutral palette. And this is the only Lorac palette that I've ever tried or had. Not that that's really relevant, but I just thought I'd mention it. Did I say this one was 75? Lorac was 76. This is number 75. This is the Huda Beauty Wild Python palette. And again, I do really like this, but there's something that I don't know if it's missing. I think it's like the neutrals almost in a way are kind of throwing me off. I feel like if this peach had been like a really dark blue or a really dark green, then it would be like really, really great. Again, not to knock this palette, but I don't know. I feel like then I would be able to create more looks just using this palette if there was like a deeper blue or green in here, because I don't really ideally love to deepen up colorful shades with browns. And again, like I like Huda Beauty's formula. It's not like my favorite, and I do like this palette, but you know, it just doesn't beat out some of the other ones. And then number 74 is another Huda Beauty palette. It's the Khaki Haze. Again, this color story feels a little bit, it just like pulls me in more. I don't know what about this palette is so appealing to me. I just really, really love the color story. I think it's a really great like neutral khaki little 9-pan palette, but it's not the most exciting color story ever in the world to me, and I do like other formulas a little bit better than the Huda Beauty formula comparatively, so this is where it ranks, although I still do really like this palette. And there's something about the Huda Beauty 9-pans that just are so enticing to me. I don't know what it is. this video. Number 73, the Lunar Beauty Moon Spell. I thought that I was going to rank this higher, but because it doesn't have the depth that I want, I just can't rank it higher. Like, as gorgeous as this palette is, I never use it by itself because I always reach for a deeper shade to deepen my look, no matter what kind of color story I go for, whether it's green, neutral, purple. Like, I always reach for another shade to deepen my looks. And some of these shimmers can be a little bit finicky, mostly the shade Hermione down here. And while there are some absolutely gorgeous shimmers in this palette, I don't know, just because I just want more depth from it, I feel like it's honestly ranked a little bit lower because of what this palette could be if I had deeper mattes. But I still do really like Lunar Beauty's formula, and I mean, the packaging is literally everything. It's literally everything to me. So nice. video here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone who's been leaving me comments for suggestions for future videos and things like that. I am taking them into consideration. It's kind of like I've already started the series, so I want to finish it, you know, but definitely everyone's suggestions are very helpful for like future ideas. So if you want to stick around, I upload typically 3 videos a week if everything's going according to plan in my life. Thank you again for watching. I always appreciate it, especially if you've made it to the end, which is very rare. And I would love to see you in my next one. Bye.